All right, let's dive into the heart of what's becoming one of the most talked about situations in the NFL right now. And yes, it's all happening in Pittsburgh. There's a cloud of uncertainty hanging over the Steelers, and it's not just about how they'll perform on the field next season, but whether or not two of their key players, one from the defensive front and one under center, will even be part of the squad when the 2025 season kicks off. Let's be real, Steelers fans are on edge, and for good reason. It all started when a well-known edge rusher, one of the most dominant in the league over the past few years, posted a cryptic Instagram story that set social media on fire. The image? Him, visibly frustrated, waving goodbye, a gesture that opened the door to all kinds of interpretations. Is he signaling retirement? Is he asking for a trade? Or is this just his way of expressing frustration over contract negotiations? Now, if you followed this guy for a while, you know he's calculated. He doesn't post anything by accident. If he wanted to look good or present himself positively, he has thousands of pictures to choose from. But this one was meant to send a message. And the message was loud and clear. Something's not right. Now we've got more details emerging, and they only add fuel to the fire. Apparently, there's been chatter within league circles about the team offering him a contract extension. But here's the kicker. It's reportedly lower than what they gave to another star on the roster. That number? $40 million per season. And if this rumor's legit, you can see why the edge rusher's not too thrilled. He's 31, sure, but he's still producing at an elite level. And if they're throwing that kind of money at someone else, why not him? Let's keep it real. He's earned the right to command top dollar. This isn't just about stats, although his are incredible. It's about impact. We're talking about a guy who changes the game when he's on the field. He's not just a pass rusher. He's a playmaker. Forced fumbles, sacks, run stops in the backfield. He does it all. And when he's not playing, the team suffers. Just look at the record. In the last stretch of games he missed, Pittsburgh went 1-10. That's not a coincidence. That's what happens when your most valuable player isn't out there. And this is where things get tricky. Because while the front office might be trying to play it smart with the cap, this defender knows exactly what he's worth. He's seen the market. He knows a fellow pass rusher just got paid $40 million per season. Another non-quarterback recently signed the richest deal in history for his position, $40.1 million annually. So yeah, he's aiming for that neighborhood. And he's got every right to. If he's arguably the best edge rusher in the game, and many would say he is, then why shouldn't he be the highest paid? Now let's talk leverage. This player's got it. All of it. He's not some replaceable cog in the machine. He's the engine. The team knows it. The fans know it. And more importantly, he knows it. That Instagram post wasn't just frustration. It was strategy. A chess move. He's putting the pressure back on the organization, saying, if you want me here, if you want to keep building this defense around me, then show me that I matter. And that means backing up the talk with a serious offer. What makes this even more interesting is what's happening on the offensive side of the ball. There's still no clarity at quarterback. And that silence? It's getting louder by the day. 1 month into free agency, 2 weeks after another quarterback signed elsewhere, and Pittsburgh still hasn't locked down who's going to be under center. Rumors say they're waiting. For what? Nobody knows for sure. Maybe the guy they want is weighing retirement. Maybe he's looking at other teams, hoping a better opportunity opens up. Maybe he's just buying time. But here's the catch. The Steelers can't wait forever. There's a sense around the building that people are starting to get tired of the uncertainty. Voluntary workouts are coming up. Then comes the draft. Then minicamps. Every step forward without a quarterback in place just makes it harder to build chemistry, to install the offense, to set the tone for the season. And if the plan is to let this drag out until training camp, that's a dangerous game, because that signals to the locker room and the fan base that the team is reacting, not planning. Let's be honest. Nobody wants to be the team left holding the bag when the music stops. And if this quarterback is seriously hesitating, seriously shopping around, the front office has every right to say, look, we need a commitment. Either you're with us or you're not. Because the last thing you want is for him to show up in late July, not because he chose you, but because nobody else did. That's not leadership. That's not how you build a contender. The reality is the Steelers need a plan. Whether that's going all in on this edge rusher and making him the cornerstone of the franchise, or deciding it's time to invest heavily in a young quarterback. Something's got to give. And with the draft looming just days away, the clock's ticking. There are 4 quarterbacks expected to go in the first round, one of whom has been mocked to Pittsburgh repeatedly. Another is a rising name from Louisville who seems to be gaining steam as a real option. He's got a cannon arm, mobility, a polished throwing motion, and reportedly one of the cleanest mechanics in this year's class. If the Steelers do decide to move up, whether it's the end of the first or the start of the second round, it wouldn't be shocking to see them take that shot, especially if the quarterback in question hasn't made a decision. In the end, everything hinges on these 2 players. 1, a veteran defender demanding to be paid like the generational talent he is. The other, a quarterback who might be the bridge to the future or might be leaving the team in limbo. The organization has to decide who they are and what direction they're headed in. Is it win now, build around defense and leadership, or is it time to reset, bring in a young passer, and hope the next chapter brings more stability? These questions won't answer themselves. And the longer the team waits, the more complicated things get. One thing's clear, though, the fans deserve clarity. The locker room deserves direction. And the front office? They're on the clock. All right, let's keep this story rolling because the situation in Pittsburgh isn't just about 2 guys making headlines. It's about a franchise at a crossroads, and every decision moving forward could define the next 5 years. We're talking legacy, locker room dynamics, and the kind of choices that either keep you in the hunt or send you back to the drawing board. The edge rusher we talked about earlier isn't just some overconfident veteran trying to cash in. He's the emotional core of that defense, the guy every offensive coordinator has to game plan for, and the type of presence you can't just replace with a draft pick. You don't find that kind of intensity, that kind of consistency, and that kind of leadership growing on trees. When this guy takes the field, it changes everything. The linebackers play freer, the secondary trusts the pressure will get there, and even the offense knows they've got a shot if he's suiting up. You think that 1-10 record without him is a coincidence? Not a chance. His presence alone lifts the entire unit, and it's why his value goes way beyond sacks and forced fumbles. It's about the tone he sets, the mentality he brings, and the fear he puts in opposing quarterbacks. Now, does that mean he's worth over $40 million a year? That's the debate. But ask yourself this. What's the cost of losing a guy like that? See, when you let someone like him walk, you're not just losing production. You're sending a message to the locker room. You're telling them that loyalty, elite performance, and leadership don't guarantee anything. That's a dangerous precedent. And in a league where player trust and management is already fragile, letting your cornerstone defensive player hit the open market, or worse, get traded, could fracture the culture that's been holding things together. Because let's be honest, it hasn't been the offense carrying this team. It's been the defense, and he's been the heartbeat of it all. Now, flip it to the quarterback situation. The lack of clarity, there is becoming a bigger problem than people realize. The fans are restless, the players are restless, and every day that passes without a decision adds more pressure. You can feel it. There's this weird limbo where nobody knows who's leading the team, and that kind of uncertainty can derail an entire offseason. Receivers don't know who's throwing to them. Coaches don't know how to structure reps. The entire offensive install becomes a guessing game. And in a division as competitive as the AFC North, you can't afford to be playing catch-up in April, May, and June. The rumors keep swirling. Some say the quarterback wants to come back, but only under certain conditions. Others say he's holding out for a better offer somewhere else, or even flirting with retirement. But here's the truth. The team has done what they can to give him time. Now, that time is running out. The draft is coming fast, and if they don't have a commitment soon, they need to pivot. That's why a date like April 21st, the start of voluntary workouts, could quietly become a line in the sand. Because once those begin, the team needs to know who's showing up, who's leading the huddle, who's stepping into that role not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. And if it's not him, fine. But they need a new plan fast. That's where the draft comes in. Pittsburgh has options. There are some solid quarterback prospects expected to go in the top 32 picks. But even if they don't get one of the headline names, there's depth in this class. The Louisville prospect is drawing a ton of interest, and for good reason. He's got that mix of raw talent and polish that coaches dream of. Strong arm, quick release, mobility, and an ability to make plays off-platform. He's not just a project. He's a guy who could step in sooner than later and grow with this team. If Pittsburgh really believes the current quarterback isn't all in, they'd be smart to make a move in the draft and start fresh. But again, it all comes down to timing. If they wait too long, if they let this situation drift into the summer, they lose leverage. The quarterbacks they want might be gone. The team chemistry suffers. And worst of all, the message it sends to the locker room is confusion and hesitation, not conviction and purpose. That's why, even though it hasn't been publicly stated, there's almost certainly internal pressure to get a deal done or move on before draft night. Because once you hit that stage, it's go time. That's when teams show their hand, when futures are decided, and when championship windows either open or slam shut. Now, let's not pretend that any of this is easy. Managing egos, contracts, and expectations is one of the hardest parts of building a winning team. But that's what separates great front offices from average ones. The best teams don't just collect talent. They build cultures. They communicate clearly, they act decisively, and they keep their core players motivated and respected. Right now, Pittsburgh has a chance to do just that. But it starts with being honest about where they are, what they want, and who they believe in. And that brings us back to the fans. Because this team isn't just trying to make the playoffs, they're trying to compete for a Super Bowl. That's the standard in Pittsburgh. It always has been. And if they're serious about that goal, then they can't afford to let contract drama and quarterback limbo define their offseason. They've got a top-tier defense with a generational talent at the heart of it. They've got a new offensive coordinator ready to bring fresh energy. What they need now is clarity, someone to lead the offense, and a commitment to keeping their star defender locked in. Look, maybe the defender takes a little less than $40 million. Maybe the quarterback decides to commit after the draft. But none of that changes the urgency, because this team is one or two right moves away from being a real contender. And that window doesn't stay open forever. You got to act while you've got the talent, while the locker room believes, and while the fan base is still behind you. Letting things drag, hoping they sort themselves out, that's how seasons get lost before they even begin. So here's the bottom line. The edge rusher deserves to be paid like the elite player he is. The quarterback situation needs to be resolved, one way or another, in the next 2 weeks. And the front office needs to make decisions that align with a championship mindset. Anything less, and this team risks wasting another year of prime talent and watching the rest of the AFC pull ahead. Time to step up, get it done, and give Steelers fans a reason to believe in 2025. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. As the NFL offseason heats up, a seismic rumor has sent shockwaves through the football world. Tyreek Hill, the electrifying wide receiver currently with the Miami Dolphins, could be heading to the Pittsburgh Steelers. With a career brimming with record-breaking performances and jaw-dropping plays, Hill's potential move to Pittsburgh has fans buzzing. Could this be the spark the Steelers need to reignite their offense? Or will it be another off-season rumor that never materializes? Either way, one thing is certain. Hill's possible arrival is a conversation that's impossible to ignore. Tyreek Hill, known for his unmatched speed and nickname Cheetah, has been a dominant force in the NFL since his rookie season with the Kansas City Chiefs. Hill's accolades are staggering. 8 Pro Bowls, a Super Bowl 54 championship, and a spot on the NFL 2010's All-Decade team. After dominating in Kansas City, Hill was traded to the Dolphins in 2022, where he continued to shatter records and prove himself as one of the most dynamic receivers in the league. In 2023, Hill finished with 119 receptions, a franchise record 1,799 receiving yards, and 13 touchdowns, leading the NFL in receiving yards. His on-field presence is undeniable, and Pittsburgh would surely benefit from such an explosive talent. The Steelers' offense has been in flux for years, but the addition of a player like Hill could change everything. Pittsburgh has a storied history of crafting successful wide receivers, from Lynn Swann to Antonio Brown, but in recent years, they've struggled to find that true game-changing talent at the position. Hill's ability to stretch the field and take the top off a defense could open up new possibilities for quarterback Kenny Pickett and the rest of the offense. Imagine a dynamic duo with Pickett's arm and Hill's speed, terrorizing defenses week in and week out. It's the kind of move that could bring Pittsburgh back to contender status. Of course, nothing is certain in the NFL, and the Steelers would need to navigate a few hurdles to make this dream a reality. Hill, although frustrated with the Dolphins' playoff miss in 2024, has not formally requested a trade. That said, his cryptic social media posts have certainly fueled speculation. The Steelers, with their historical reputation for building championship-caliber teams, might see an opportunity to capitalize on Hill's discontent and lure him to Pittsburgh. But how willing will the Dolphins be to part with their star receiver? And can the Steelers offer a package that would entice Miami? While the future remains uncertain, the possibility of Tyreek Hill joining the Pittsburgh Steelers is a tantalizing one. If it happens, it could dramatically reshape the AFC and alter the course of the Steelers' future. Hill's speed, playmaking ability, and leadership could bring a much-needed spark to Pittsburgh's offense, revitalizing a team that is eager to return to championship glory. As the offseason unfolds, fans and analysts alike will be eagerly watching to see if the cheetah ends up in black and gold. One thing is clear: Tyreek Hill in Pittsburgh will be an NFL storyline to watch closely. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.